Shrimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Srila Gurudev Ki Jai Nityrupa Vishnu Vishnupad Ashtatara Shrimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Nityrupa Vishnu Vishnupad Ashtatara Shrimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Saidam Istarava Nityrupa Vishnu Vishnupad Ashtatara Shrimad Srila Bhakti Vigyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Nityrupa Vishnu Vishnupad Ashtatara Shrimad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai Nityrupa Vishnu Mahabhagavat Srila Goksharas Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Nityrupa Vishnu Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai Nityrupa Vishnu Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai Shri Rup Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopal Bhattata Shaghunath Shar Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda Ki Jai Naam Acharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Kshetra Mandala Gaura Mandala Vraja Mandala Mathura Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Sarva Abhishta Bidati Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Radha Kunda Shama Kunda Ki Jai Shri Mona Devi Ganga Devi Ki Jai Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi Ki Jai Shri Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Shri Purnamasi Yoga Maya Ki Jai Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev Ki Jai Shri Bhakti Vigna Vinashankari Shri Nishinga Bhagavan Ki Jai Bhakta Pravar Shri Palar Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Ramachandra Vijayotsav Ki Jai Shri Madhvacharya Ki Jai Tatiya Shubha Avirbhav Titi Ki Jai Srila Bhakti Sarup Damodar Maharaj Ki Jai Tatiya Shubha Tirobhav Titi Ki Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Let me shut off this, shut my windows and door and everything so they don't. Just 1 second, guys. I'm just. This music's too loud. Okay, it's better. Alright. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Śrīmad-Bhakti Vedanta Narayaniti Namine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratishe Namaha Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tarbhaktaya Namo Namaha Yang Pravrajantam Anupetam Apeta Krityam Dvaipayano Virahakatara Ajuhavo Putreti Tanmayataya Taravo Binedos Tang Sarva Bhuta Hridaya Munimanatosmi Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat Shrinvatang Swakata Krishna Punyashravana Kirtana Hridantasto Yapatrani Vidhunoti Suritsatam Nashta Prayeshvabhadreshu Nityang Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. Tavai vasmi na jivami tvaya vina. Iti vigyaya radhe tvam nayamang charanantikam. Bhaktya vihina aparada lakshay क्षिप्ताष्टकामातितरङ्क मध्ये कृपामयि त्वं शरणं प्रपन्ना वृन्दे नमस्ते चरणारविन्दम् भज श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरि गौर भक्तवृन्द Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Dandava Pranam Karkaraji and Raseshwari Mataji Haribo. Indira Mataji, Dandavat Pranams, Rup Manjari Didi, and Madhavi Didi, Dandavat Pranams, everybody. Uh, 26. Okay, so I'm just going to go straight here. So Hiranyakasipu, he consoles all his relatives. And he ended by telling the story of the Kulinga birds. Now, after that, Hiranyakashipu desired to be unconquerable, free from old age, deathless, without rival, and the sole king of the entire universe. With these desires, Hiranyakashipu goes to perform austerities. Hiranyakashipu did severe austerities in the valley of Mandara mountain by standing on his toes, keeping his arms upward and looking toward the sky. And by Hiranyakashipu's austerities, light emanated from the locks of his hair as the sunrays during dissolution. Wandering demigods returned to their homes. Fire emanated from his head and spread everywhere and heated up all planets. All the rivers and oceans were agitated. The surface of the globe with its mountains and islands began trembling. The stars and planets began to fall, and all the directions were ablaze. Disturbed by Hiranyakashipu's severe austerities, all the demigods left their planets and went to the planet of Lord Brahma, the creator, and informed him as follows. O Lord of the demigods, O Master of the universe, we are scorched and unable to stay on our planets. If you think it proper, kindly stop these disturbances before your obedient citizens are annihilated. Although you might know, please hear of Hiranyakashipu's intentions behind his austerities. So these are Hiranyakashipu's intentions. He's saying, I will occupy Brahma's post. Brahma got his exalted post by austerities, mystic power, and trance, and became the most worshipable demigod in the universe. I shall endeavor in a similar way and occupy his post, since I, the soul, am eternal and time is eternal. I prefer this to even Dhruvaloka. I shall reverse the results of pious and impious activities. I shall overturn all the established principles within this world. So then the demigods are saying, your post, O Brahma, is most auspicious for everyone in the universe, especially for the cows and Brahmins, for material happiness and opulence. But if that demon takes your position, everything will be lost. So then Brahma went to see Hiranyakashipu along with Bhrigu, Daksha, and other sages. Brahma initially couldn't see Hiranyakashipu, whose body was covered by an anthill, grass, and bamboo. The ants had devoured his skin, fat, flesh, and blood. Spotting him, Struck with wonder, Brahma smiled and spoke to him. Now you are perfect in austerities. Ask for me whatever you desire. It is astonishing to see your endurance. Despite being eaten by all kinds of insects, your life air is circling within your bones. Previous great sages like Bhrigu also could not do such austerities, nor will anyone in the future will. Who can sustain his life without water for hundreds of celestial years? Your determination and unprecedented austerity have conquered me. I will give you all benedictions. Your audience with me will not go in vain. Then Brahma enlivened Hiranyakashipu by sprinkling upon him divine water from his kamandalu. Hiranyakashipu arose as a young man with a body as strong as a thunderbolt and luster resembling molten gold. Hiranyakashipu was pleased, seeing Lord Brahma, and fell flat on the ground. Rising up, he was overwhelmed by jubilation. With tears in his eyes and hairs standing on end, he prayed in a faltering voice. Then Hiranyakashipu glorifies Brahma. That's where we're up now. Oh, and there's a note here. It says, although Hiranyakashipu praises Brahma in this section as if he were the Supreme Lord, it is Lord Krishna who is the original creator and master of this cosmic manifestation. Brahma is only the secondary creator. Lord Krishna empowers Brahma as the engineer to create this phenomenal world. Thus, the following glories should actually be attributed to Lord Krishna. Hari Bol Charu Didi, Hare Krishna. Shubha Vijay Utsav. Alright. Oops, wait, let me get to our place. Where is it? 26, I think, right? And since today's reading is really short, maybe we can read something about Madhvacharya and this Vijay Dashami. Yeah, I will look afterwards what we can read. Shri Hiranyakashipu Uvacha Kalpante Kalashishtena Yondhena Tamasavritam Abhivyanag Jagad Idam Swayan Jyoti Swarochisha Atmanatri Vrita Chedam Srijatyavati Lumpati Rajasattva Tamo Dhamne Paraya Mahate Namaha. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Lord within this universe. At the end of each day of his life, the universe is fully covered with dense darkness by the influence of time, and then again, during his next day, that self-effulgent Lord, by his own effulgence, manifests, maintains, and destroys the entire cosmic manifestation. Through the material energy which is invested with the three modes of material nature. He, Lord Brahma, is the shelter of those modes of nature, Sattvagun, Rajagun, and Tamagun. Purport. The words Abhivyanag Jagad Idam, purport by Srila Prabhupada. The words Abhivyanag Jagad Idam refer to he who creates this cosmic manifestation. The original creator is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, Janma Dasya Yataha. Lord Brahma is a secondary creator. When Lord Brahma is empowered by Lord Krishna as the engineer to create the phenomenal world, he becomes the supremely powerful feature within this universe. The total material energy is created by Krishna, and later, taking advantage of all that has been unnecessarily been created, Lord Brahma engineers the entire phenomenal universe. At the end of Lord Brahma's day, everything up to Svargaloka is inundated with water. And the next morning, when there is darkness in the universe, Brahma again brings the phenomenal manifestation into existence. Therefore, he is described here as he who manifests this universe. Tringunan Vrinoti. Lord Brahma takes advantage of the three modes of material nature. Prakriti, material nature, is described here as Trivritta, the source of the three material modes. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam comments in this connection, whose appearance day it is today. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam comments in this connection that Trivritta means Prakritya. Thus, Lord Krishna is the original creator, and Lord Brahma is the original engineer. Nama adaya bijaya jnana vijnana murtaye pranendriya mano buddhi vikarar vyaktam iyushe. I offer my obeisances to the original personality within this universe, Lord Brahma, who is cognizant and who can apply his mind and realized intelligence in creating this cosmic manifestation. It is because of his activities that everything within the universe is visible. He is therefore the cause of all manifestations. Purport. The Vedanta Sutra begins by declaring that the Absolute Person is the original source of all creation, Janma Dasayataha. One may ask whether Lord Brahma is a Supreme Absolute Person. No, the Supreme Absolute Person is Krishna. Brahma receives his mind, intelligence, materials, and everything else from Krishna, and then he becomes the secondary creator, the engineer of this universe. In this regard, we may note that the creation does not take place accidentally because of the explosion of a chunk. Such nonsensical theories are not accepted by Vedic students. The first created living being is Brahma, who is endowed with perfect knowledge and intelligence by the Lord. As stated in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaye. Although Brahma is the first created being, he is not independent, for he receives help from the Supreme Personality of Godhead through his heart. There is no one but Brahma at the time of creation, and therefore he receives his intelligence directly from the Lord through the heart. This has been discussed in the beginning of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Lord Brahma is described in this verse as the original cause of the cosmic manifestation, and this applies to his position in the material world. There are many such controllers, all of whom are created by the Supreme Lord Vishnu. This is illustrated by an incident described in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. When the Brahma of this particular universe was invited by Krishna to Dwarka, he thought that he was the only Brahma. Therefore, when Krishna inquired from his servant, which Brahma was at the door to visit, Therefore, when Krishna inquired from his servant which Brahma was at the door to visit, Lord Brahma was surprised. He replied that, of course, Lord Brahma, the father of the four Kumaras, was waiting at the door. Later, Lord Brahma asked Krishna why he had inquired which Brahma had come. He was then informed that there are millions of other Brahmas, because there are millions of other universes. Krishna then called all the Brahmas, who immediately to visit him. The Chaturmukh Brahma, the four-headed Brahma of this universe, thought himself a very insignificant creature in the presence of so many Brahmas with so many heads. Thus, although there is a Brahma who is the engineer of each universe, Krishna is the original source of all of them. I just want to make sure that I'm using the right mic. Oh, this is getting audio from my laptop. Let me change the audio input. Here. Okay. Now the audio will be better quality. Tam ishishe jagatas tutash. Sorry, let me try that again. Tam ishishe jagatas tatushascha pranina mukhena pati prajanam chitasya chitter mana indriyanam patir mahan bhuta gunashayesha. Your Lordship, being the origin of the life of this material world, is the master and controller of the living entities, both moving and stationary, and you inspire their consciousness. You maintain the mind and the acting and knowledge-acquiring senses, and therefore you are the great controller of all the material elements and their qualities, and you are the controller of all desires. Purport. In this verse, it is clearly indicated that the original source of everything is life. Brahma was instructed by the supreme life, Krishna. Krishna is a supreme living entity, Nityo Nityanam, Chaitanas Chaitananam. And Brahma is also a living entity, but the original source of Brahma is Krishna. Therefore, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 7:7, Mata Parataram Nanyat Kinchir Asti Dhananjaya. O Arjuna, there is no truth superior to me. Krishna is the original source of Brahma, who is the original source of this universe. Brahma is a representative of Krishna, and therefore all the qualities and activities of Krishna are also present in Lord Brahma. Tam saptatantun vitano shitanva traya chaturhotra kavidayacha tam ekap atmatmavatam anadir anantapara kavirantaratma. My dear Lord, by your form as the Vedas personified, and through knowledge relating to the activities of all the Yajnik Brahmins, you spread the Vedic ritualistic ceremonies of the 7 kinds of sacrifices, headed by Agnishtoma. Indeed, you inspire the Yajnik Brahmins to perform the rituals mentioned in the 3 Vedas. Being the Supreme Soul, the Super Soul of all living entities, you are beginningless, endless, and omniscient, beyond the limits of time and space. Purport. The Vedic ritualistic ceremonies, the knowledge thereof, and the person who agrees to perform them are inspired by the Supreme Soul, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Mata Smritir Jnanam Apohanam Cha. It's Bhagavad Gita 15:15. From the Lord come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. The Super Soul is situated in everyone's heart. Sarvasva Chaham Hridisannavishta Ishvara Sarvabhutanam Hriddeshir Junatishtati. And when one is advanced in Vedic knowledge, the Super Soul gives him directions. Acting as Super Soul, the Lord gives inspiration to a suitable person to perform the Vedic ritualistic ceremonies. In this connection, 4 classes of priests, known as Ritvik, are required. They are mentioned as Hota, Advaryu, Brahma, and Urkata. Tam eva kalo nimisho jananam ayur lavadavayavakshinoshi kutasta atma parameshcha jo mahangs tam jiva lokasya cha jiva atma. O my Lord, your Lordship is eternally awake, seeing everything that happens. As eternal time, you reduce the duration of life for all living entities through your different parts, such as moments, seconds, minutes, and hours. Nonetheless, you are unchanged, resting in one place as a Super Soul, Witness, and Supreme Lord, the birthless, the all-pervading controller, who is the cause of life for all living entities. Purport. In this verse, the word kutastha is very important. Although the Supreme Personality of Godhead is situated everywhere, he is a central, unchanging point. Ishvara sarva bhutanam hriddesher junatishtati. The Lord is situated in full in the core of everyone's heart.
As indicated in the Upanishads by the word ekatvam, although there are millions and millions of living entities, the Lord is situated as a supersoul in every one of them. Nonetheless, he is one in many. As stated in the Brahma Samhita, Advaitam Achyutam Anada Mananta Rupam, he has many forms, yet they are Advaita, one and unchanging. Since the Lord is all-pervading, he is also situated in eternal time. The living entities are described as parts and parcels of the Lord, because he is the life and soul of all living entities, being situated within their hearts as the Antaryami, as enunciated by the philosophy of inconceivable oneness and difference, Achinta Bedha Bed. Since the living entities are part of God, they are one in quality with the Lord, yet they are different from him. The Supersoul, who inspires all living entities to act, is one and changeless. There are varieties of subjects, objects, and activities, yet the Lord is one. Tvata param na param apyanejar. Oh, really? Okay. So then I'll just switch it to my computer audio then. Okay, so I'm switching this to my computer so that the background music will be less loud. Oh, and Manjari, Didi, yeah, I guess that's why we read that note at the beginning, that this is all, even though Hiranyakasipu is addressing this all to Lord Brahma, we're taking it as a glorification of Krishna. But there's something that our acharyas do sometimes, is if somebody who isn't credible is giving an instruction that is credible, then our acharyas will use it. Like we see Srila Jiva Goswami does that in the Sandarbhas. He'll take things from people that he doesn't agree with, and he wouldn't say they're right, but there is one thing that they say that is right, and so then he'll use that as, he'll put those words of the person who he actually disagrees with, but this point he agrees with, so then he uses that as evidence. So, yeah, I guess we care more about the truth of what somebody's saying rather than if the person is right on everything else. If somebody's saying something that is true, then we accept that. And we reject all the untrue things that they say. There are other examples of that, of even Rupa Goswami. Wait, no. Anyways, yeah. I already read the Sanskrit, right? I think so. I'm just going to say it again. Tatta param na paramapyanejar ejacha kinchir vyatiriktamasti vidyakalaste tanavascha sarva hiranyagarbo si brihatriprishta. Okay. There is nothing separate from you, whether it be better or lower, stationary or moving. The knowledge derived from the Vedic literatures, like the Upanishads, and from the sub-limbs of the original Vedic knowledge, form your external body. You are Hiranyagarbha, the reservoir of the universe, but nonetheless, being situated as a supreme controller, you are transcendental to the material world, which consists of the three modes of material nature. Purport. The word param means the supreme cause, and aparam means the effect. The supreme cause is the supreme personality of Godhead, and the effect is material nature. The living entities, both moving and non-moving, are controlled by the Vedic instructions in art and science. Let me just finish this. The living entities, both moving and non-moving, are controlled by the Vedic instructions in art and science, and therefore they are all expansions of the external energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the center as a supersoul. The Brahmandas, the universes, exist during the duration of a breath of the Supreme Lord. Yasaika nivasita kala matavalambya jivanti loma vilaja jagarandanata. Thus, They are also within the womb of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Mahavishnu. Nothing, therefore, is separate from the Supreme Lord. This is the philosophy of Achinta Beta Beta Tattva. It's missing those words here. Alright, so Raseshwari Mataji said it got worse. Again. Got worse a third time. Okay. So then I'm going to make it go back to the mic that I'm using. Or should I use... Oh no, I packed that up already. Alright. So is it's okay now? I'll just keep it close to my mouth, maybe. Oh, and noise suppression. There. Maybe that will work. Vyaktam vibhostulam idam shariram. Yeah. Oh yeah, Ranjari, just sorry, another thought came to my head. Srila Jiva Goswami, he lots of times he'll quote Shankaracharya. Noise suppression is worse? That's really strange. I don't know what to do then, Vaseshwari Mataji. I tried everything now. What to do? Let's see, does this...
Oh yeah, so Rup Manjari, just another point on this is, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, Shankaracharya. Srila Jiva Goswami quotes Shankaracharya all the time. Oh, I'm not sure how much he quotes him, but yeah, he does quote him as, even though Shankaracharya is like, we oppose most of what Shankaracharya says. Yeah. Okay, this is the best, huh? Okay, this is good. Cool. Vyaktam vibhostulam atish idam shariram yenendriya prana mano gunangstam Bhunkshe stito dhamani parameshte avyakta atma purusha purana. O my Lord, being changelessly situated in your own abode, you expand your universal form within this cosmic manifestation, thus appearing to taste the material world. You are Brahman, the Supersoul, the oldest, the personality of Godhead. Purport. It is said that the Absolute Truth appears in three features, namely impersonal Brahman, localized Supersoul, and ultimately the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. The cosmic manifestation is the gross material body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who enjoys the taste of the material mellows by expanding his parts and parcels, the living entities who are qualitatively one with him. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, however, is situated in the Vaikuntha planets where he enjoys the spiritual mellows. Therefore, the one absolute truth, Bhagavan, pervades all by his material cosmic manifestation, the Supreme Brahman effulgence, and his personal existence as the Supreme Lord. Ananta Vyaktarupena Yenedam Akilam Tatam Chid Achit Shakti Yuktaya Tasmai Bhagavate Namaha. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme, who, in his unlimited, unmanifested form, has expanded the cosmic manifestation, the form of the totality of the universe. He possesses external and internal energies, and the mixed energy called the marginal potency, which consists of all the living entities. Purport. The Lord is endowed with unlimited potencies, parasya shaktir vividaiva shruyate, which are summarized as three, namely external, internal, and marginal. The external potency manifests this material world. The internal potency manifests the spiritual world. And the marginal potency manifests the living entities, who are mixtures of internal and external. The living entity, being part and parcel of Parabrahma, is actually internal potency. But because being in contact with the material energy, he is an emanation of material and spiritual energies. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is above the material energy and is engaged in spiritual pastimes. The material energy is only an external manifestation of his pastimes. Yadidasyasya bhimatam varanme varadottama bhutebhyastvar visrishtebhyo mrityurma bhunmama prabho. O my Lord, O best of the givers of benediction, if you will kindly grant me the benediction I desire, please let me not meet death from any of the living entities created by you. Purport. After being created from the navel of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, Lord Brahma, the original created living being within the universe, created many other different types of living entities to reside in this universe. Therefore, from the beginning of creation, the living entities were born of a superior living entity. Ultimately, Krishna is the absolute living being, the father of all others. Aham bija pradap pita. He is the seed-giving father of all living entities. Thus far, Hiranyakasipu has adored Lord Brahma as a supreme personality of Godhead and is expected to become immortal by the benediction of Lord Brahma. Now, however, having come to understand that even Lord Brahma is not immortal because at the end of the millennium, Lord Brahma will also die, Hiranyakashipu is very carefully asking him for benedictions that will be almost as good as immortality. His first proposal is that he will not be killed by any of the different forms of living entities created by Lord Brahma within this material world. Nantar bahirtiva naktam anyasmad apichayudai nabhumau nam pare mrityur na narar na mrigar api. Grant me that I not die within any residence or outside any residence, during the daytime or night, nor on the grounds, nor in the sky. Grant me that my death will not be brought by any being other than those created by you, nor by any weapon, nor by any human being or animal. Purport. Hiranyakashipu was very much afraid of Vishnu's becoming an animal to kill him, because his brother had been killed by Vishnu when he took the shape of a boar. He was therefore very careful to guard against all kinds of animals. But even without taking the shape of an animal, Vishnu could kill him by hurling his Sudarshan chakra, which can go anywhere without the Lord's physical presence. Therefore, Hiranyakashipu was careful to guard against all kinds of weapons. He guarded against all kinds of time, space, countries, because he was afraid of being killed by someone else in another land. There are many other planets, higher and lower, and therefore he prayed for the benediction to not be killed by any residents of any of these planets. There are three original deities, Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwar. Hiranyakashipu knew that Brahma would not kill him, but he also wanted to not be killed by Lord Vishnu or Lord Shiva. Consequently, he prayed for such a benediction. Thus, Hiranyakashipu thought himself securely protected from any kind of death caused by any living entity within this universe. He also carefully guarded against a natural death, which might take place within his house or outside of the house. Vyasubirvasumabirva surasura mahoragai apratidvandvatam yudhe aikapatyam chadehyam sarvesham lokapalanam mahimanam yatatmana tapoyoga prabhavanam yanarishyati karhichit. Grant me that I not meet death from any entity, living or non-living. Grant me further that I not be killed by any demigod or demon, or by any great snake from the lower planets. Since no one can kill you in the battlefield, you have no competitor. Therefore, grant me the benediction that I too may have no rival. Give me sole lordship over all the living entities and presides, and give me all the glories obtained by that position. Furthermore, give me all the mystic powers attained by long austerities and the practice of yoga, for these cannot be lost at any time. Purport: Lord Brahma obtained his supreme position due to long austerities and penances, mystic yoga, meditation, and so on. Hiranyakasipu wanted a similar position. The ordinary powers achieved by mystic yoga, austerities, and other processes are sometimes vanquished, but the powers obtained by the mercy of the Lord are never vanquished. Hiranyakashipu, therefore, wanted a benediction that he would never be vanquished. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 7th canto, 3rd chapter of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, entitled Hiranyakashipu's Plan to Become Immortal. All right, so that's our Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam reading for today. Let's see, this is, what is the song? By Bhavatarani and, is it chanting? chanting the names of the Lord. Hiranyakashipu was king, and an evil one was he. He bargained with Lord Brahma for immortality. Not to die in the day, not to die in the night, not to die on the land, not to die on the sea, not to die by animal, not to die by man. He wanted to live eternally. Chanting, chanting the names of the Lord. I couldn't help it. Oh, and there's a picture here, a really awesome picture of when he's doing austerities, which Indira Mataji sent me, but I forgot to show you guys. So I'll show you now. You never heard that song before, Manjari? I'll have to show you. But yeah, look at this picture. Pretty awesome, huh? There's Brahma pouring a drop of water on him, and then he's getting his body. That's a really awesome one. All right. So, let me share my screen again. It must be on YouTube. I'm wasting time right now. Let's see. Chanting the names. No, never mind. I'll look for it later. All right, so where are we? Okay, we're going to read about Madhvacharya now, whose appearance day it is today. This is Harikatha by Srila Bhaktivedanta Bharati Goswami Maharaj. There's Madhvacharya. And, okay, Rupanji is going to look for it. Cool. Just looking at the pictures now because I'm going to make them disappear now. Let's go into reading mode. Okay. Never mind. Looks like reading mode doesn't work right now, so I'm going to just make the text really big. Okay. Dang it, I can't make it that big. What the heck? Okay, guys, I'm just going to have to make the text small. So just going to have to deal with that. I don't know what's going on. This website is being so weird. Okay, let me try again. Okay. Today is a very special day. It is the disappearance day of Sri Madhvacharya. He is also known as Ananda Tirtha and Purna Pragya. This is given by Srila Bhaktivedanta Bharati Goswami Maharaj on February 8th, 2014. Okay, so he's also known as Ananda Tirtha and Purna Pragya. His birth and childhood pastimes. Externally speaking, Madhvacharya appeared in 1238 AD near Udupi in Pajaka Kshetra to Sri Narayan Bhatta, also referred as Madhya and Vedavati. Madhvacharya's family was poverty-stricken, and before him, all his siblings had passed away prematurely. Thus, in order to beget a healthy child, Vedavati observed a strict vow of sustaining herself only on milk for 2 years. And as a result, she was blessed with Madhvacharya as her son. Their family's worshipable deity was Sri Ananta Padmanabh, holding a conch, wheel, club, and lotus, and so his father named Madhvacharya Vasudev. In reality, he was a Shaktivesh avatar, a personality empowered by the Lord to accomplish a certain task. Being incarnation of Bhima and Hanuman, he displayed many feats of strength and mystical perfections. As a child, while playing in a nearby forest, Vasudev killed the snake demon Maniman by crushing him with the big toe of his left foot. Vasudev's father had accrued some debt from his brother. As a result, Vasudev's uncle showed up one day demanding his money. He showed up one day demanding his money be returned and threatened to give up his body by fasting to death unless his father was able to return it. To settle the debt, Vasudev converted some tamarind seeds into authentic coins and addressed his uncle. You please take the requisite coins and settle your dues. As a 5-year-old, he proclaims to his father, I will refute the philosophy of Shankaracharya. His father was elderly and used to carry a walking stick. He said, Shankaracharya is Lord Shankar himself, and if you are indeed to refute, his father said, Shankaracharya is Lord Shankar himself, and if you are indeed to refute his philosophy, then the stick I am holding will turn into a fruit-bearing tree. Straight away, Vasudev planted that stick into the earth, pronouncing, O stick, if I can refute Shankar's philosophy, then immediately become a fruit-bearing tree. Vasudev's words came to pass as the stick instantly grew into an ashwata tree, a sacred fig tree, and bore fruits. Seeing this, his father was astounded and convinced that indeed his son was not an ordinary personality. Once a famed wrestler challenged him, so Madhvacharya placed his big toe on the earth and invited the wrestler to try to lift it. But despite exerting great force, the wrestler failed. Finding the Udupi Krishna deity. Udupi, yeah. Once a merchant ship fully loaded with cargo was stuck and unable to move. Madhvacharya was nearby at the time, and just using a few gestures, managed to bring the ship safely to shore. The captain was very much appreciated this timely help and offered Madhvacharya anything among the precious items they were carrying. Madhvacharya told the sailor that he would like some of the gopi chandan because it was an item of daily use for him and his disciples. Out of many blocks, Madhvacharya chose 2. The captain happily gifted the gopi chandan to Madhvacharya. While he was carrying them, one block of gopi chandan broke open, and a beautiful deity of Gopal holding a butter-churning rod in his hand appeared, which was installed by Madhvacharya in Udupi Kshetra. This deity is not the form of Laddu Gopal. This deity is not in the form of Laddu Gopal. Here is the deity. There is one unique feature of the temple. Sri Gopal is not put to rest, Shayan, by closing the temple door. He's not put to rest by closing the temple door. the window to the deity room always remains open, so anyone can have darshan of the Lord at any time. Interesting. Madhvacharya established 8 mats and made his 8 prominent disciples in charge of those mats as acharyas. Today, acharyas in the disciplic succession of all 8 prominent disciples take turns to serve in the main mat, Sri Krishna mat, for a period of 1 year on a rotational basis. They follow very strict standards of worship to this date. There is also a sacred pond in the mat premises. No one is allowed to use the ponds to wash their hands or feet, as the water is used for cooking for the Lord. One day, while Madhvacharya was on a pilgrimage, passing through Maharashtra along with his disciples, a local king was digging a big lake. The tyrannical king created a rule requiring whoever passed to participate in excavating mud from the pond. However, when Madhvacharya was confronted to take up this process, he first made the king submit to his own rule before proceeding. What was that rule? Anyways, that's not explained here. So, on Magi Shukla Navami Titi, while writing a commentary on the Aitareya Upanishad, he left his body. All right. So that's Madhvacharya. What time is it now? Okay, so Madhvacharya ki jai. There is another thing to read on here about Vijaya Dashami, I saw before. But I think I'm going to end for now because I don't want to go over time. Where is it? Yeah, here is Vijaya Dashami. Maybe let's just, how long is it? Let's see how long it is. It's actually not so long. I'm going to just read it then. Okay, so October 15th is Vijaya Dashami in Vrindavan. The following is an excerpt of a Bhava Anuvad of a discourse by Srila Bhaktivinoda Bharati Goswami Maharaj on October 3rd, 2014. Today is a special day. It is Vijaya Dashami. On this Titi, Sri Ramachandra achieved victory over Lanka and installed Vibhishan as the new king. Some are confused. Did Sri Ramachandra march to Lanka for a battle on this day, or did he actually become victorious over Lanka after Ravan, Kumbhakarna, and Meghananda were killed? On this Titi, effigies of Ravan are seared to celebrate his slaying by Lord Ram. Bhagavan makes sure that words of his devotees never remain unfulfilled. Meghanad, sorry, did I say Meghananda? I meant to say Meghanad. Meghanad used to perform sacrifice called Nikumbila Yagya. Whenever he performed this sacrifice before going to battle, he could not be defeated. Hence, he came to believe, I have become so great, I am invincible, no one can defeat me. Who could kill him? As per Lord Brahma's benediction, only someone who had remained without food, in other words, one who had fasted and not seen a woman's face for 14 years could kill him. By the will of providence, Lakshman did not eat anything, not even fruits, for 14 years during the exile. Although Sri Ramachandra would share whatever fruits were procured from the forest with Lakshman, but due to some paucity, what's this word? Paucity in his communication, and it's not familiar. Paucity means the presence of something in only small or insufficient quantities or amounts. A paucity of information. Okay, so, but due to some paucity in his communication, Lakshman never ate them. He would just say, Dharo Lakshman, meaning, take this, or hold this, Lakshman. So Lakshman would take it in his hands, but would not eat. Thus the Lord made the benediction of his devotee, Lord Brahma, come true, and eventually Lakshman killed Meghanad. The glories of Bhagavan remain forever. Everything is possible for Bhagavan. This is his Bhagavatata. That is the essence of his godhood. Kartum akartum anyata korite samartha. He is capable of anything. He can make even the impossible possible. He built a bridge across the ocean. By his divine touch, the massive stones and boulders floated atop the ocean instead of sinking. He empowered different devotees accordingly to accomplish various feats through them. After he returned from Lanka, the king of the ocean prayed to him, "Prabhu, please break this bridge." Thus, he used his bow and arrow to break it down. The evidence can still be found there. The government of India was desirous to clear the remains of that bridge so that it could facilitate access for big ships. However, because many objected, it was still not completely removed. It still remains the way Sri Ramachandra left it. The middle portion was removed, but on both ends, the structure still remains. That place is famous as Setu Banda. In 1962, there was a cyclone, and the Dhanushkodi railway station was abandoned. Earlier, when we went there by our private vehicle, we would rest at that station. There was a hall and a kitchen for pilgrims to stay and cook for themselves. These facilities were provided by the Southern Railways to attract pilgrims. There is a place atop a hill called Ramacharya, from where Sri Ramachandra surveyed Lanka. During our second visit there, we observed that Dhanushkodi was drowned. In this way, though the places of Bhagavan's pastimes transform over time, his glories remain forever. The vow of Sri Ramachandra. Hanuman, Jambavan, Nal, and Neel were the commanders-in-chief of the army of Sri Ramachandra. Among them was also Vibhishan, the brother of Ravan, a devotee of the Lord. He advised Ravan to surrender to Sri Ramachandra, but without heeding his advice, Ravan verbally abused him instead and banished him from the kingdom, egoistically retorting, "Who is Ram?" Who is Ram? Ravan became falsely proud as a result of worshipping Devis and Devatas in the mode of ignorance. Shiva granted him boons, which in turn made him proud. He believed himself to be invincible, so eventually Ravan was killed despite being a great tapasvi, a great aesthetic, somebody who goes through austerities. When Vibhishan had come to the shelter of Sri Ramachandra, Ramachandra's commanders advised him against giving Vibhishan shelter on the grounds that he was Ravan's brother. Citing that Ravan had used the disguise of a sannyasi to abduct Sita Devi, and had sent Maricha disguised as a golden deer to deceive Sita so that she asked Sri Ram to go and fetch a golden deer for her. Sri Ram's comrades were skeptical and advised him not to trust the words of Vibhishan at that moment, because he was related to such a deceitful enemy. Sri Ramachandra agreed that what they spoke was true, but affirmed, "I have one vow." Surprised, they questioned, "To attain you, many observe vows, but you too observe a vow?" "Yes," Sri Ram confirmed, "I do have a vow. Any person who even once says, 'I am yours,' and takes shelter of me, that very moment I give him the boon of fearlessness, of Hayata." Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami narrated this in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Sakrid eva prapanno yas tavasmiti chayachate abhayam sarvada tasmai dadamyetad vratam mama. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 34, 22-34, quoted from Ramayana, Yavat Kanda 1833. It is my vow that if one only once seriously surrenders unto me, saying, "My dear Lord, from this day I am yours," and prays to me for courage, I shall immediately award courage to that person, and he will always remain safe from that time on. Krishna tomar hoya jadi bole ekabar, Maya banda hoite Krishna tare kore par. One is immediately freed from the clutches of Maya if he seriously and sincerely says, "My dear Lord Krishna, although I have forgotten you for so many long years in the material world, today I am surrendering unto you. I am your sincere and serious servant. Please engage me in your service." Sincerity attracts Bhagavan. These are the if someone sincerely, just one, utters the words, Krishna, I am yours, from the core of their hearts, the Lord will be. Mere lip service will not suffice. Simply uttering something verbally while having something else in the heart has no value, because Bhagavan is the indweller and knows everything. So he does not pay heed to one who only externally becomes a devotee. Bhagavan takes notice of one who is sincere. Vibhishan was a sincere devotee, and so he was made the king of Lanka and simultaneously given the service of Sri Ranganath. Vibhishan would personally come there daily to serve Sri Ranganath. Upon Sri Ramachandra's arrival in Ayodhya on the first day, 14 lamps were lit because he was returning to his kingdom after 14 years. When he arrived, all the people rejoiced in festivities by colorfully decorating their houses and illuminating their houses with countless lamps to welcome Sri Ramachandra. So this festival, Deepavali, is celebrated. As per the Vedic custom, welcome is always done by offering of lamps. It is done with 5 lamps on a plate, so the minimum number of lamps should be 5. And in the temple, the daily arati is performed with panchadeep. So today, Sri Ramachandra's Lanka Vijay Utsav, and later the festival of Deepavali, celebrated to commemorate his auspicious arrival in Ayodhya. All right. Vijay Dashami ki jai, Sri Ramachandra Vijayotsav ki jai. Let's see. I'm not going to read this, but I'm just checking to see if anything is posted in Pure Bhakti yet. I checked yesterday, and there wasn't anything there. Oh, now there is. Oh, and today's also the disappearance of Shripad Swarup Damodar Maharaj. But I'm going to end now because it's already 8:04. So. Jai Shishi Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Shishi Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki jai. Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju ki jai. Nitil Vishnu Vishnupar Ashatar Ashatashmar Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Srila Gurudev ki jai. Nitil Vishnu Vishnupar Ashatar Ashatashmar Srila Bhaktivedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Nitil Vishnu Vishnupar Ashatar Ashatashmar Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitil Vishnu Vishnupar Ashatar Ashatashmar Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Nitil Vishnu Vishnupar Ashatar Ashatashmar Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Nitil Vishnu Mahabhagavat Srila Gokisharas Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopal Patadash Gunath Shar Goswami Prabhu ki jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki jai. Namachay Shri Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Kshetra Mandala Gaura Mandala Vraja Mandala Mathura Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Sarva Abhishta Pradata Giriraj Maharaj ki jai. Shri Radha Kund Shama Kund ki jai. Shri Mona Devi Ganga Devi ki jai. Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki jai. Shri Bhakti Devi ki jai. Shri Purnamasi Yogamaya ki jai. Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shinitai Gaur Prema Shri Rama Vijayotsav ki jai. Shri sorry, somebody's sending me a message. I got stuck. Vijay Dashami ki Titi ki jai. Shri what am I saying? Shri Bhakti Sarup Damodar Maharaj ki jai. Tadiya Shubha Tirubhav Titi ki jai. Shri Madhvacharya ki jai. Tadiya Shubha Avirbhav Titi ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Shinitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Gaur. Grantaraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai. Vrindai Tulsidevaya Priyai Keshavascha Krishna Bhakti Paridevi Sattvatar Namo Namo Vancha Kalpatarubhyashta Kripa Sindhubhya Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo. Dandavat pranams everybody. See you all tomorrow. Jai Shri Radha.